Yo, what's up guys? Seiishizo here with some more Siege! And we had a pretty interesting siege. We had it against our sister guild, Dalbdeshifu, and against Aftermath Unleashed, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, first hit, we're fighting two units that actually have speed scaling, and then a Monty. Monty could be kind of tricky, and I actually noticed I shouldn't have used Torrent, because if this thing brings it into low enough HP, I can use Torrent at a later moment. I should have abused that, but I think in most cases, even if he does a pretty low HP on one of my units, I would have been able to recover anyhow. So with that, I think I was just still fine to pretty much clear out all of this. This is the first time I actually seen this exact defense in this way. I'm not really sure if it's too good. I think it's too hard countered by Leo in general. Monty kind of makes it tricky that things could go back and forth, but the thing is, both units are speed scaling, and therefore you have zero speed scaling stuff if there's a Leo on the field. Then we have another one which I just like to. Grogan is still. I'm actually tempted to do current summoning stone rotation to get another Tiana, because this is just so easy. It is just so easy. You could say, like, what if you miss armor breaks? 9 out of 10 with Grogan. It's still fine with good Tiana. And then going on for some more fast clears. My favorite team of all times. And it's probably not going to change anytime soon. And the funny thing is, I was like, ooh, I miss on Sierra. Is that an issue? But as you can see, like, how much damage I already do to the Sierra. Like, Sierra no armor break, and it's still like, what, 60-70% HP gone already. This team just cleans up, man. This team is insane. Like, it doesn't get much better than this team. Like, the only thing that actually kills this is getting outsped. Or maybe a Manon plus Molly passive, which I wouldn't use it into. But then again. So yeah, then we had... Apparently I have a gift for finding unruined units, because this was an unruined Nora, if I'm not mistaken. Or a halfway unruined Nora. I haven't used this team in a bit, because I was running it at a lower speed for defense, and then it's pretty trash for offense. But now back at the good speed, back at offense. And then we had some more LDs. We actually fought quite a bunch of LDs today. And was this by definition the best offense into this defense? No, probably not. Like, in general, I pretty much just use this offense because it's good on the rune quality. But this team is just so solid, man. There's like 2-turn AoE sleep is so strong. And the cooltime on that is not too long. There's just, you get CC to shit with this team. Like, most of the time, you literally have 3 CC units on the field. And their CC is pretty much every turn for all 3 of them. You cannot get more CC than this. Like, a lot of people ask me, it's like, why is this team so good? Or they started using it as like, wow, I didn't think it was that good, but it's actually pretty good. And the main reason is Josephine, S1 and S2 CC. You have the monks in the middle, both skills CC. And then you have an Annabelle, which also has S1 CC. Like, what more do you want? It's just UCC people to death. You do need a good amount of destroy runes on it in case they start healing on passes and that kind of stuff. But even things like Molly, they don't really do too much. This one I was actually somewhat surprised about how slow that, what's it called, Bella was. And how tanky that thing on the left was. Well, I also feel like Dominic doesn't do jack shit damage anymore. But yeah, the moment that one was dead, it was pretty much easy peasy, lemon squeezy, clean up. Which, Dominic, I don't know, man. I feel like they nerfed Dominic too hard. Dominic used to be such a fun, cool unit, and currently his damage just feels meh. Especially if he's below 50% HP, his damage just disappears. Like, normally he made units disappear, now his damage has disappeared. This is like a plus 2200 Dominic or something. And it feels like nothing. So yeah, then again, this team with Nikki in the middle, and the first time I fought it, actually, the enemy had like a wrong turn order. Maybe the Moor was missing a rune. But I also noticed, like, if you actually want to run this, you probably have to put 1 or 2 units on non-will. Most likely 2 or 3 even on non-will. So if you then go in with a Swift Wusa, a Ganymede that's over like 280, then this is relatively easy to clean up. Because, well, you just Wusa, you reset stuff. So the thing was, I was pretty certain that either the Moor or the Nikki would have been off will. And if either or are off will, I can just Ganymede it. And especially if I'm pretty certain that I could outspeed it with a pretty fast Ganymede as well. So yeah, this team, in the end, I think it's pretty solid. I could have played it slightly safer with resetting Wusa instead of the Rika, and therefore Rika never gets armor broken. But I was like, meh, I already won, so might as well go for a second rotation of Rika S3s and just clean it up with that. And then it becomes a pretty solid and easy cleanup. Man, we're steaming through those wings. I did all of my wings pretty fast, but I can see in the data files that I have some longer clips as well. So then the next one, team I haven't really used as much, but it is pretty strong, and that is Coco. Coco is also one of the units of my defense. I can't really show how this Coco looks like, but there is something that you can see about this Coco, and that is that this Coco has a Gucci amount of damage. 12k per hit. That is pretty much an overkill. That's a lot of damage. And then it's relatively easy cleanup. I was like, the moment I hit that unit in the middle, I was like, wait, I shouldn't hit that, because the moment I actually kill it, he cleanses off armor break. So that's actually straight up useless to do. So I should have been hitting the Molong, and the Molong would have died in that turn. And I wouldn't have risked myself of getting procced on again and then actually potentially losing. So misplayed on that one, shouldn't have hit the Julian. I should have just hit the Molong to start killing that first and then clean up from there. Slight misplay, but in the end. And the next one, more LDs. There is so many LDs. But those are LDs you don't see too often. In this case, the strategy was relatively easy, which is, well, the unit on the right, the Shiho, most of the time will have its immunity up. The unit on the left has 100 resistance, so it's less likely to get armor broken. Everything starts hitting the Halfas, and then I can just simply kill things with Shiho and Shiho's on destroy. That was pretty much a game plan. And then you also have Wolfric still going like ham and doing shit. But at some point I was like, should I actually focus down the Leona? Because the actual damage threat is not the Leona. The actual damage threat comes from Bastet armor breaking something at a wrong moment. It was like, I should have focused Bastet earlier than this. But yeah, then again, I still lab because of that slow, pretty nice. Damage was actually kind of low. Like I did put some... No, actually I didn't really go for... I went for a speed crit damage attack set. I think I should have just went for an attack crit damage... Or no, wait, an speed attack set. Because I don't have any armor breaks. So having that crit rate and crit damage kind of went to waste now to think of it. So yeah, if you use a team like this, no armor breaks, definitely go for just additional damage stuff. Because the additional damage on this thing was kind of okay, but if you crit or you don't crit or you have a lot of crit damage, it doesn't really matter. So those are just slight tips to keep in mind. But yeah, in the end, this Halfast pretty freaking tanky, and then can do some manky business, but then different manky business. Wait, wait, do I have all 3 monkeys on a different skin? I do think so, actually. I should check that, but now to notice it, I never even noticed it, but I think I have all 3 monkeys of normal elements on a different skin. Interesting. Also, probably the reason that I pull them at different moments and that kind of stuff. And then Perna decides to go like 3 times, 4 times. I don't know. Doesn't even matter. And that slightly speeds it up. Leona cannot solo this. Especially, I did put a decent amount of accuracy on that monkey just to make sure that I was able to still CC the units if that was needed. But yeah, additional damage, as you can see, would have done a lot more. So yeah, then we're already at fight number 10. Final fight, which, well, let's throw some more LDs against LDs. Yeah, I kind of soloed the tower with Nikki, so therefore, like, it's not, you see this defense a lot. It was actually a middle line defense. You might think like, oh, is this super meta or something? Not really. I think it's pretty good actually, but there are some flaws to it. Like, for example, mainly the Wusa team that is the hard counter to this. But yeah, I kind of solo this tower, and that's the reason why you see this defense a bunch of times. But I feel like that this is a pretty solid offense as well. Nigong is not really needed though. And Nigong was just something like, oh, I have something ruined up. I want to put it next to Elucia and next to Windy. Those were the main characters for this thing. and I just want to make it somewhat safe. Like I could have easily just went for like a Vigor or something that would have done totally fine. Or a Wusa. Wusa would have actually been totally fine with this as well. What else? Guess you can Wolfric? Nah, Wolfric I probably wouldn't really, but yeah, you might say like, oh, super LD heavy, but no, not really. Like the Nigong was just kind of doing its thing. Like I didn't even use Nigong S3 for any usage though. It was more the S2. Like the S2 did damage. That's the main thing I was aiming for. Like how can I do damage to a Kinky that he doesn't become that annoying? And then yeah, this is good damage on the Kinky, for example. So yeah, pretty much just that, and that was a pretty quick 10-10. So far for the current season, we have 3 10-10s in a row. Let's see how far we can go on with those. Defense, we actually switched defense as well, and he had like 1 or 2 defenses doing pretty well in current Siege, so that's pretty nice to see. I am still kind of lacking a few defense units that are pretty common right now. For example, Manon. Well, actually mainly Manon, and then probably just a few things that are good as dupes right now, like Monties, Geomarses, that kind of stuff. Either out, guys. Hope you enjoyed this Siege video, and see you in the next one.